Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're all doing fantastic. And that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel for daily cryptocurrency newses. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. The analyzers are out once again looking for information about the cryptocurrency space. I don't know why I said it that way. Bitcoin's next peak in price is expected in summer of 2025. According to on-chain data from Into the Block, aligning with historical trends from previous halving cycles. In a recent post on Twitter, Into the Block noted that Bitcoin's price has decreased by approximately 12% from its halving price of $63,900 US. Historically, Bitcoin has peaked around 480 days after each halving event, which supports the prediction of a new all-time high around mid-2025. I don't know where to start. We are currently in one of the weirdest, if not the weirdest, bull market, bull cycle, bull run, post-halving that we've ever been in. If you didn't see the video from a couple of days ago, there are a number of analysts who actually believe that cycles might be over. Why, you might ask? Well, basically because this one is acting so weird. We might be in the midst of a gigantic shift in what it means to actually be in the cryptocurrency market when prices go up, if they actually end up going back down. The accumulation levels that we're seeing are also completely unprecedented. The amount being held in long-term wallets has never been seen before. However, people are looking desperately. I'm sure if you follow the daily news here, you know what's been going on. Everyone is trying to figure out when A is going to happen to B to happen to C. When is Bitcoin going to go back above or go above 80,000 US dollars? Where we keep hearing September, October. When is Bitcoin going to push above $100,000? We keep hearing November, December. When is Bitcoin going to do so-and-so? When did Bitcoin bottom out in price? Remember, that was also a big thing where people said that, 52,000? I think 52,000 was supposed to be, air quotes, as low as we could possibly go, and therefore everything from there was simply going to go up. Now, also, I guess tying into it is the discussion of if cycles are still a thing, if we're still following the good old 2016, 2017, 2019, 2020, 2021, and I guess also 2013, I don't know, kind of ways. When will the market basically like hit its peak? The general idea has been thus far, according to everything that we heard since the beginning of this year, that the Bitcoin price mania and cryptocurrency altcoin season would basically continue until the end of 2025. This is normally when we've seen these cycles kind of finish. In 2017, Bitcoin hit 20,000. I think it was the very end of the year, if I'm not mistaken, like the very end of 2017, winter. In 2021, I believe it was November. So the expectation has been sometime autumn, winter 2025. Into the Block is now stating that 480 days after each halving is usually when the market begins to slide back down. Why 480 days? I don't know. A lot of times people keep throwing out numbers and they say that that's simply law and that's what it has to be, which would then leave us to around summertime, that then gives us January, February, March, April, May, June. Do you count July as the beginning of summer? I know June technically is, but most people say that summer is July, August, I guess June as well. Yeah. So let's say January, February, March, April, May, June, October, November, December. That gives us 10 months of prices continuing to go up. So saith into the block. They talked about the time, the price of Bitcoin as they wrote the article. Yada, yada. Martha grows, come to markets from the post-halving, yada, yada. The analysis from Into the Block highlights the cyclical nature of Bitcoin's price movements, which are closely tied to its halving events. Bitcoin halvings occur roughly every 4 years and reduce the mining supply by 50%, decreasing the rate of new Bitcoin entering circulation. This scarcity-driven mechanism has historically been followed by significant price increases, accumulating in peaks approximately 480 days after each halving. The weird part is that normally 90 to 100 days after the halving has taken place is when we normally see prices really begin to recover. That has not happened. And this is why a lot of people think, it's also like, it's a gigantic multi-layered cake at this point. People think we might not be in cycles anymore, or if we are, our cycles might look different. That prices may never actually go down because of just constant accumulation in the amount of Bitcoin that is and is not on cryptocurrency exchanges. Are we in a 4-year cycle? What happens if we're not in a 4-year cycle? What's the other thing? There's some other thing that I'm missing that also has to do with like scarcity. And there's also like, if we are over the 100 days when we normally would go up in price, does that mean that the new cycles now happen 150 days after? Does that mean that the crypto market cycle might not actually end until January 2026? It's just thousands and thousands of questions because we've never been here before. We've never been in a situation where a couple of companies purchased 1 million Bitcoin in 3 months, and institutions and countries are buying, and then the price just didn't react. So everyone's like, what is actually happening? And this is why I think we have a lot of companies and analysts now. And it's all over the place. This is not a one kind of directional thing. I'm sure you've all seen it. If you are on Twitter and you scroll around, the different ideas of where the market's going are absolutely insane. I've seen people, and I mean adamantly, and I mean like big popular analysts, not random person with 15 followers. I mean like 300,000, 400,000 followers, like big names who are constantly throwing things out there, I guess. I've seen September, market go moon. October is what we need to wait for. People say the middle of Q4 is everywhere now for crypto prices to go back up. December is when it's going to happen. We have to wait for the election to be over, people to settle down. December is going to be when prices go back up. There are a lot of people who've said January, Q1 2025 is when prices are going to go back up. I've seen people talk about that prices have to go back down, that we have to like bottom once again, that Bitcoin has to go back down to $30,000 to prove that all the other price points were completely okay and accurate, and that we can bounce off of those numbers. I've seen people saying that the next step sometime next week is $75,000, $84,000. I've seen all of them. I've seen all the charts with the lines, with the zigzags. I know I joke about it, but I look at all these things, and this is why sometimes I think, personally, why I'm so cynical, because I'm like, you can't run in 16 different directions in front of me, and each of you screams back that you're going in the right path. I feel like no one knows what's going on, if we can be completely honest. I think the institutions know what they're doing. I think that they know that they're manipulating prices lower. I think they know that scare tactics about this and that and this is going to happen and prices going down is a very clever way to get people out of the market. But I also, this is personal, I feel like the institutions also don't know when they're even going to like allow prices to go back up. I feel like they're in this really crazy, like hyper crazy, ravenous accumulation mode that we keep going over every other day. That don't lie to me. I know the majority of people aren't paying attention. I get it. I see some of the comments and people go, I'm paying attention. I'm like, okay, cool. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 of you. I know that everyone else isn't looking or doesn't even really care about the news that we keep getting from these companies who are buying up everything. When you hear that they own everything and no one pays attention and retail's the only people who are selling, what am I supposed to think? That means that people, the massive majority of people aren't paying attention. So what I think is actually happening is I think our market is evolving right in front of us. It's going from Pikachu to Pokemon Shoe. Like it's literally changing into this gigantic entity silently, like I've been saying before. The wealth transfer. It's happening with no one. Like you're not seeing like money literally get up, grow legs and walk down the street and start screaming. It's happening silently. It's moving from literally the people who don't have or who have a little bit, and they're shifting that money back over to the people who have everything. So I think a lot of people are kind of throwing out expectations of where they think that things could potentially go. Because if we can be completely honest, this is once again, we go over daily news here. Do you remember once we actually had the halving, there were a lot of predictions that also from these people were also saying 90 to 100 days after. This was giving us until the end of July, the beginning of August, that Bitcoin would be at 70, 80,000. And then by the time we got to the end of the year, we'd be at 250,000. So I think the expectations have kind of been thrown out the window. They're there, but no one really truly knows what's going on. How many times over the years, or even this year, have I made fun of the charts and talked about them? And I see them on Twitter, I see them online, I see them in articles, I see them all over the place, and I read through them because maybe I'm missing something. I'm not openly cynical about everything. Like if I see something that I don't understand, I read through it. But the problem is that I see 25 other explanations of exactly what's happening. Not like this could be. It is this. This is happening. All the other people are lying. And I go, well, none of you are correct. And you haven't been correct. So what's actually happening? All I can assume is that every analyst, I don't openly believe that these people are lying, because I do think a lot of people do believe in the Fibonacci and the Golden Cross and all these other things, and that we have to re-hit this number again to historically for the stock market, it's been that way. But we are a brand new market. We are a brand new asset class that has only had a couple of halvings before. To base every other halving that we have on a brand new one where we've never seen this kind of movement before. We've never had this level of accumulation. We've never had this amount of Bitcoin locked up. We've never had this little Ethereum on crypto exchanges. We've never had this much Ethereum locked up on chain. So I feel like it's just like an institutional game now. I think the institutions they've taken it. They control everything. They're making sure that they move the market as they see fit to continue buying what they need. They'll maybe raise prices here and there to try and get some people to come back in, and then they lower it again to liquidate all those people who might be in the market until they flush everything out. There was a news story about maybe 10 days ago. It was talking about that sellers seem to be exhausted. They continuously over the course of this year got new people into the market and then flushed them out. They cancel their position. They stop all these different things, and they de-encourage unencouraged people to get into the market or to stay into the market. And I think, as I said before in another video, I think that's been the goal. That's the goal for like normal finance. Rich people don't want normal people in any market. It sounds crazy, but no, it's literally what it is. We are consumers. We're meant to be consumers for life. Did you see? It's kind of one of the ideas of how a lot of these companies were posting like record profits, like for the last couple of years as the world was slowly swirling into poop. But they made record profits because of people who were consuming. They continuously go out and they consume. And there was just something in the news a couple days ago where it was talking about that, like, consumers aren't consuming. They literally call us consumers. Our entire purpose is to consume. We are consumers, that we weren't purchasing as much. And this was detrimental to the actual stock market and to the economy. So they had people going to CNBC and they were like, people need to get back out there and just start spending. Credit card rates aren't that high. Literally telling people you're already in debt. Your credit card rate of 4 or 5% isn't that bad, bro. Like, it can go, it's not going to be zero anytime soon. You can go back out and buy. That's the point of everything. In order for stocks and companies to have higher valuations, you need consumers. Has that ever clicked for anyone before? The only reason why these companies are so powerful and have so much money is because of us. You give your hard-earned money to them. You are left with scraps and something you didn't even want to buy from the store, and they continue to post record profits. So for crypto, as it happens and is happening for every other asset class, this is like the perfect time for institutions to get into our market. The people in our market aren't paying attention. Has anyone else thought of that? Every other asset class seems to be shifting dramatically. Who owns the land? Who owns the right to water? Look that up. Who's buying all the single family homes? Who's buying all these mansions? Who's creating all these buildings and making sure that the housing inside of it is just for other rich people? It's a literal shift to get poor people out of cities and not even into suburbs. You have to find some place to live entirely. If you have people who've been in the cryptocurrency market, you've seen the money that people have made before. That's why I assume a lot of people are here. You've heard the stories, and I've told you them before. You put $1,000 years ago into XRP, you would have made almost $500,000. You put this much money into Bitcoin, these people made 6 figures. Ethereum used to be $8. Cardano used to be 1 cent. People made a huge amount of money. And then you have people who've been in this market or who get into this market and prices don't move as quickly as they want them to move. And I'm once again, this isn't me telling you to be patient, to calm down, to slow down, just wait 12 more months. I'm literally explaining the situation to you. And then people sell their coins. I told you from my viewer metrics, like if you're a YouTuber, you can see on your viewer metrics, I can see how many views I was getting in 2021 compared to now. It is a dramatic difference because people leave these markets. And then you wonder why the rich people keep buying everything. This is a genius time for them institutions to be getting into crypto. If we have recession fears, interest rate fears, inflation fears, housing cost fears, you know who's not afraid? The people who already have all the money, who for generations have made sure that we remained consumers. Remember when the entire thing happened with GameStop? Don't ever forget this. Those people went on TV and they were talking about how angry they were that normal people were trying to make money. You can find it online. You can find it on YouTube. I don't know why everyone's so riled up about GameStop right now. You know, most people, that guy, I don't know, he was some rich person. He went on TV, and I shared the link. This was years ago, obviously. And he literally said, I don't get it. You guys should just be going out looking for girlfriends and like trying to figure out like what makes you happy. Don't trade in these markets. They don't want us here. When Robinhood, remember? When they shut off trading and they said, it's about liquidity. No, it was their shareholders who were like, stop these poor people from making money. That was literally what happened. These institutions are going to own everything. I wasn't even trying to rant this video. I was literally going to go over the news. I'm not even joking. This is daily. We keep getting this news over and over and over. These people are geniuses. Not because they're rich, but because they figured out like the secret sauce. How to make everyone like so unencouraged and so like no desire to step away from the market. People who are in the market have also stepped away, aren't buying, aren't investing, buying crap that they don't need as opposed to trying to invest in their future. And then they're going to own all of it silently. Remember that thing years ago? And you can Google it. The thing years ago where we heard that all these rich people were storing Bitcoin in mountains. And I was like, Bitcoin was like $4,000 at this point. And I was like, how valuable is Bitcoin to these people that they're hiding it in like bunkers and in mountains with like multiple like blast doors? They will literally own everything. Isn't this insane to think about? They are going to control the entirety. 97% of our market will be theirs. It's kind of like the thing I was telling a friend of mine. He's not really into real estate, but I was explaining like current trends because he didn't understand why prices were increasing and why rent was going up. So I explained to him about the idea of corporate landlords, as me and you have gone over before. And I was telling him, I said, it's so crazy because within the next 10 to 15 years, these corporate landlords will own, I think the number is like 75 or 80% of all single family homes. And he was like, oh, that's a relief. And I was like, what? He's like, well, only 80%. So like, I still have time to buy a home. And I was like, no. Like you're not understanding. That 80% is, first of all, that's a lot. They'll own it. They're not going to relinquish it. They will own all the new homes. He was like, yeah, but the 20% will remain on the market. I said, no. The 20% will belong to people who have homes who just didn't sell and refuse to sell. Do you understand that? The other 20% of all the homes in the United States will be owned by like people like you who have a home to live in that you own, or smaller investors who have 3 or 4 homes or apartments as investments. That's it. If you look at all the statistics, when they were talking about it on CNBC, they said the problem with those numbers, but besides them owning all the homes for normal people, is that the only people who will have the massive amount of liquidity and be able to get through credit checks or get mortgages on, drop of a dime, drop of a hat, are the people who own the 80%. If you own these companies, some of these companies are buying up 300 homes every single month. At the end of the year, that's 3,600 homes. You do that over a decade, that's 36,000 homes. You have an enormous amount of liquidity every month. You hear, and also just being in the industry, you know these people. You hear that these people are going to, someone new is going to make a whole new housing complex or like a whole new city, town somewhere, 50 homes in the suburbs. Guess who can contact them first? It's the people who own 36,000 homes. Hey, yeah, we're going to buy up half those homes. You're going to have to look at it. And then another company calls them. All those homes are gone. They never hit the market. I never told this story maybe. This was maybe 2011, 2012. I was looking for a place to buy as an investment. And I found, I think it was like a 2-bedroom. It was very, very cheap. This is a long time ago. And I remember I liked it. It needed some work done. I was totally fine with it. And I remember I told the guy, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to put in my offer right now through email, yada, 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 so and so and so. Sent him the email. And I was expecting to hear back from him the next day. Like, okay, we got your offer. We sent it to the owner. Nothing. I didn't hear a word from this guy. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. 2-3 days go by. I call him and I was like, hey, did you receive my offer? He said, yeah, we did. Oh, forgot to tell you. He said that same exact day after I had my viewing, this guy came in who owned whatever, and he bought the entire building. I'm not joking. He negotiated with the company and was like, you guys are only selling about 7-8 flats? Okay. Is there any way I can buy the building? And he negotiated the building. I couldn't even stand remotely close to that. And this is what we see happening right now with all this accumulation. It's nuts. It's nuts what's going on. I don't know why. Not that Not that why more people aren't talking about it, but more so like, I guess maybe why more people aren't talking about it kind of thing. I'm certain I can feel it. Like I like this entire year has been so weird for this market. I've been in crypto for almost a decade at this point. This has been by far the weirdest cycle. I think if institutions, if we didn't have any Bitcoin ETFs, we would probably be around a good $45,000 to $50,000 right now, like per price for Bitcoin. But we would have seen like actual movement up since around midsummer. Like we would have like gradually seen actual movement up, and we probably would have hit around a good 70, 80,000 by the end of this year. And then normal movements. Like none of these movements are normal. None of these movements in this market, they're not normal. All of them are completely insane. While we have an aggressive amount of buying happening daily. It's really, really weird to think about. I'm sure within the next 15 days, we're probably going to get news similar to this about 2 or 3 other times. We keep hearing that the only people who are selling are retail. There was just someone on Twitter. This was maybe like a couple days ago. I have no idea who this person was, but he wrote something and I felt it. Like I felt the pain in his bold words. It was all caps, boldened, and it said, "Who the fudge is selling?" He didn't say fudge, but you get it. And he had a chart of the price like going down, and like you could see like all these wallets had kind of like given up their coins, but it was showing like the cumulative sell for that day. And they were all retail wallets. And he's like, why are people selling? I don't understand. It's a genius. It's a clever way to get people out of the market. It happens for every single market. It's really nuts. Yeah. Current estimates. By 2050, normal people won't own anything. How many times have any of you been looking at videos online? I'm sure you can find them about like housing crisis and stuff like that, where they show people who are like, we don't have $80,000 to put down as a prepayment for the mortgage. We don't have $120,000. People trying to move into places and they're like, I don't have first month's, second month's, last month's security. I don't make over $180,000 to qualify for living in this place. I don't get how people aren't more like alarmed by all this stuff that's going on. That's why I keep saying all the time, I'm like, if you take profits, if you get out of crypto, if you cash out, whatever your heart is telling you to do, please buy something that is cash producing that like will help you in retirement and or to retire early. You know how many people get their pension and the pension's like $800 and their rent's like $1,600 and they can't do anything. They can't go anywhere. They don't have any money. They can't travel. They saved no money. They bought no assets. They have no investments. Have none of you been looking at the news and hearing what's been going on economically, money-wise? There's a whole generation who's getting ready to retire, and they have no retirement savings. This is by design. These people were consumers their entire lives. They did not save. They did not put money away. How many of you, show of hands, how many of you want to turn, because by the time you get older, don't forget this, the retirement age is going to be raised to 71 to 75. Do you understand that? How many of you want to turn 70, 71, 73, 75 and have no assets and have no money, have nothing that's cash producing? Nothing. And you sit there and you go, oh, yay, happy birthday, I'm 75. Well, Got to go to my part-time shift at Walmart because that's the only people who are hiring part-time. I get 10 hours a week. You know, most jobs, well, this is more of a US thing, are only hiring 39 hours per week. If you live in the US, you know why. Why it's only 39 hours and not 40. You know, most jobs, I keep seeing stuff about people who have 3 jobs, and you sit there and go, oh, that's crazy. Who would have 3 jobs? The woman was like, well, one only gives me 12 hours per week. Another one gives me 15, and the last one gives me 4. That's all I can get. And people sit here squabbling about absolute nonsense instead of focusing and putting your head down and making money. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You are driving yourself to failure by not paying attention. That's why I said, I don't listen. You can buy all the Maseratis in the world. You can buy every single Lambo that exists. The first thing you need to do is buy a house, buy an apartment, buy some kind of an investment that you can hold on to forever and also pass on to someone else. Oh my gosh, the world is crazy. And last point. There's a lot of people who I haven't spoken to and I haven't seen in a while because the frustration level, like it boiled over. Talking to some people who I know, who I've known for years, and I'm like, you got any investments? You started buying anything? You want to get into? No, I'm not. No investments. I don't want anything. I've asked about a good maybe dozen people in the past 30 days. People who I know, like for some reason they randomly entered into my head, and I was like, let me message them. And I messaged them, hey, how's it going? What's up? What's going on? Cool. Do you have any investments? Resounding no. Resounding no. I don't have any investments. And there was no conversation of, should I have some? Can you help me get some? Can you help me understand? It was simply no. People are setting themselves up for crazy, absolutely mind-boggling, crazy financial futures. I told some of you, I told you before, a lot of you, even as I'm saying this, aren't listening to me. There's some kind of blockage in your head, and you refuse to believe that it could be you. Keep saving, keep investing, stop consuming, save your money, put it away, buy investments, watch them grow, and then swap them into other investments so that you can keep becoming richer, so that you don't have to struggle. Oh my gosh. This was about the Bitcoin halving and when the market's supposed to peak. I think I have so much frustration for what's going on and people not paying attention or not caring. How do you not care about your financial future? How do you not have any worry about where you're going to be in 10 years, 20 years? There's nothing in the back of your head saying like, prepare. Let me make sure that I'm okay and that I'm not struggling. That's crazy. We all know somebody in our lives, multiple people who aren't doing well financially. You look at them and you go, it doesn't seem that bad. I guess I don't mind being in that situation. No, I want to be as far away from that as possible. I want to be on the other end, actually, the literal other end. Oh my gosh. I do hope that you got something from this. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you're having a great day. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be, I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. Jeez Louise. See you.